What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, party people? It is your boy Coach D Brown, former big leaguer, former first round pick with the Kansas City Royals. And man, I'm when I tell you these last few days we had internet trouble yesterday. The day before we Sacred Heart head coach couldn't come on. He had issues with his internet. You got me, coach? Yeah. So
Yeah, I
anyway,
got you.
speaking of
There
the
you go.
internet, here we go now with these issues here. So yeah, good, man. All right, let's keep this ball rolling. Well, listen. Um, anyway, my whole point is we haven't technically the last few days just been crazy. So let's make this roll. Let's see what we got here. So we got Coach Mike Keehn from University of North Alabama, and Coach, how you doing, man? I'm glad to have you, man. I appreciate you taking out the time, man, and come on the show, man.
I'm glad to have it. It's been a unusual run since March, so I got a little bit more free time than I normally do. So I'm always happy to get on here and do something and promote baseball. It's glad to see it going. It's still different, but it's nice to be talking baseball.
No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it, man. So, you're right. Let's just we've been, it's the only thing I got right now. Baseball is just talking it right now. So anyway, let's go back to the beginning, man. I want to learn about North Alabama, but first let's learn about the man that runs the program there. So, Coach, if you could, man, go back to the beginning. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your background, your playing career, to your coach's career, to where you are now as head coach at North Alabama.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty old, so I'll try to keep this short. So, yeah, I actually I grew up in the state of Nebraska, and I played at the University of Nebraska Kearney. So that's where I did my collegiate playing career, and I actually got an opportunity to play. I played a year in minor league baseball. I wasn't a first rounder, but I was in that bottom 46 round opportunity guy, so I got a shot and had played up in the Northwest League a little bit. But
Nice.
I actually, yeah, when I finished up my degree, graduated from Nebraska Kearney, and I started my coaching career in Kansas City. So Kansas
Nice.
City, Kansas Community College. So
Nice.
that was
Nice.
there in kind of the mid '80s with the George Brett and when they were really tearing it up. So
Yeah.
that's when I saw you were that first round out of the Royals. I was going, that's pretty cool because I was still am a big Royals fan, but
Good
it
deal.
was nice to meet up. That's where I started coaching. It was from Steve Burleson in that junior college over there, and really kind of got me started in the collegiate ranks. I didn't think about college, but I don't know if you remember a player by the name David Segui and Kevin
Yeah.
Young. Both
Yeah.
of them, they coach. I coached them in junior college, and so we had
Okay.
obviously some really good talent. So it kind of got me. This is kind of a neat to kind of the teaching kind of going, and then I was trying to go get work on and get my master's degree, and so came down here in University of North Alabama in 1988, the fall of, and just got married. Plan on getting my master's degree, being here a couple years, and as I worked from the GA to the assistant to becoming the head coach, so I've been here a long time. So we're coming up on 32 years with the program. Not that quite many as a in the full time part of it, but worked my
Mhm.
ranks there and seen a lot of changes come through here at UNA throughout that time period. So that's kind of a brief synopsis of my career and coaching, getting into it.
Listen, man, that's it's crazy, man. I'm actually coaching right now in the Pirates organization with KY right now. So yeah, I'm gonna tell him we actually Friday we got a Zoom call meeting, and I'm gonna let him know, right?
Yeah,
So
he's a great. I tell you what, that we could talk about him later. He's a great story because he was a freshman when I was one of my second year that I was coaching, and then I came down to North Alabama and recruited him, and it was between us and Southern Miss, and but obviously he panned out and have a great career. But great, yeah, tremendous person, great player, but a
yes, he
great
is.
person more than anything else. So.
Yes, he is. I can attest to that, man. And yeah, I know he has those Kansas ties. He had said something about that with Kansas. I was like, Kansas, yeah. But anyway, yeah, they So North Alabama, man, we're gonna learn more about the school. Shout out to everybody listening in. Coach Eden, Chris Jones, what's up? Curtis was good. Jansen was good. Mr. Porches, what's up? All right, and everybody. I know my boy Bubba out there in Alabama. I know you on over there. I know, he's been waiting for them Alabama schools. I told him he was coming on. But so anyway, I want to learn about North Alabama. All right, D1 school. So give me a little bit about location. Where in Alabama it is. The conference. You know, the amount of students that's there. Let's talk about North Alabama, Coach.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And we've been in this will be our third year of Division I, if you can call it that, because we got cut off short. But we were a Division II program for most of the time, and that was in the Gulf South Conference. Then in the fall of 2018, we went into the ASUN Conference, which is obviously a very good baseball Division I conference. And so we made that transition in the spring of 2019, and we're continuing down in 2020. We're located in the northwest part of the state. It's in Florence, Alabama. They call it the Shoals area, which is Muscle Shoals, Tuscumbia, and Sheffield. The Muscle Shoals, a lot of time that's where the Fame Recording Studio is. This is a very musical area. So that's way back when all those famous recordings were going on in the Shoals, when you hear about that. And that's where this location is. So it's right off the Tennessee River. The town of Florence is about 40,000. So it's not a huge area, but it's not a small area. It's about 90,000 total when you incorporate in the Shoals. University of North Alabama, it's a beautiful campus. That's one of the things that we try to make it tough, is we haven't been able to get kids on campus and visit like we normally do. But the campus is about 8,000 students. Obviously, in that community, it's a very good academic school. Obviously, we got all the sports: football, basketball, the women's sports. So it's a very rounded athletic, but a very, very good academic institution. It's been one of the top academic institutions in whatever conferences we moved to, left, come in, and even in the ASUN. So I say it's an impressive area. It's a very nice area, very safe area, very family-oriented area, and obviously a typical college town. That's what's probably the major driving force behind the area. So obviously, when all this stuff goes on, we like having those sports to continue going. But one of the reasons I've lived here so long, it's got 3 kids. You raise your kids, you try to find areas that are going to be safe for them, good education opportunities for them. Florence provides that for all the kids and for anybody who comes in our area.
Good deal, man. So, Coach, I know we had a little technical. We going in and out on my end. So, I did not get the conference. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I heard the student enrollment, and I didn't. It was like in the middle. It kind of cut out a little bit on me.
Okay.
So, what conference are you guys in, Coach?
We are in the ASUN. ASUN is an athletic sun conference that consists. There's basically the 4 Florida schools. That's with Stetson, Florida Gulf Coast, North Florida, and University of Jacksonville. Then you got Kennesaw State, which is in Atlanta. You got North Alabama now in Alabama. You've got Lipscomb, which is in Nashville. Bellarmine University is in Louisville. That's brand new. That's another transition institution. Then we have Liberty University in Virginia. So it's a very spread out as far as a conference, but it is a very good baseball conference. That's the one thing that of all the teams in the conference, I had one of our administrators last year. He said, and he goes, I can't believe how good from top to bottom this conference is. He said, there's not a, and he goes, I didn't go on the road, but for the home games, he goes, man, that's challenging and it's tough. And we experienced that when you transition, go from D2 to D1. You jump right into one of the premier conferences. I know that when we jumped into it, they were the top 7 baseball conference in the country. So that was Power Fives, and I think it was the American, and then the ASUN was next. So that tells you the kind of baseball that's in this conference. So it's a very, very good baseball conference.
Yeah, I mean, just the first 4 Florida schools you named right then and there, and then, the Alabama. Yeah, that is a very good conference over there. I know some really good ball players that played at those Florida schools, and so yeah, you got to come with it every weekend. That's awesome, man. That's why I love doing what I do. I I get to learn about different schools and locations. I've heard of South Alabama before for some reason. I think I played with somebody from South, but I haven't, heard too much about North Alabama. So it's good. And the type of conference there. So you got to come with it, man. So speaking of that, what up, D-Rob? Was good. What up, Tasha? We have, what up, Sergio? And so we got First question in, I already knew it was coming. Let's go, Bubba, over there. I'm gonna get in my questions. Usually I kind of wait a little bit, but it's there. Let me get something in my eyes. So, Coach, what are you looking for to fill your class of 2023? We're gonna way over
Well,
there. 2023.
that's a good question. We're working on that right now, and that was one of the things we had to adjust. And my recruiting coordinator, Anthony DeChico, was a former D1 coach, and so that was one of the things we had to change when I brought him in. We weren't used to recruiting that far out, but right now, 2022, we're getting on some outfielders. Obviously, you need pitching. That's one of the main areas, but we are really searching for some outfielders. That's kind of a priority, and a catching. But pitching is always going to be in the equation no matter what. So we've had some obviously some good contacts with 2022s and trying to fill and continue to improve. So, but right now, the prior athletes. To be honest with you, at 2020, I'm telling them let's look as many athletes as we can get. But priorities are basically outfield, catching, and pitching is really what we're really pursuing right
now. All right. Outfield, pitching, and catching. Never have enough pitching. I know that's right. I know you want those arms, man. Oh. So, speaking from the recruiting bait, I've got another. Let me see. We got here. We got Christopher Jones says, what D2 conference was North Alabama in, and how would you compare that conference with the new D1 conference?
Yeah, it's another very good question. We were in the Gulf South Conference, which if you on the Division II ranks, a lot of guys aren't familiar with that. There's really about 3 conferences at a really high level, which is the Sunshine, which we were in the same region with Florida Southern, Tampa, and all that. That was actually our region. And then there's a Peach Belt Conference, which obviously has the Georgia and South Carolina. But the biggest difference is as high level as we had in Division II, and the GSC was a very good conference, still is. But one of the biggest changes that I saw was in the level of the pitching. We had a lot of good, maybe upper 80s arms that guys could pitch. Now, we had Tyler Joyner, who was 92, 94s with the Orioles organization when we were D2. But when you get to this Division I, especially in the A-Sun, I mean, you're seeing 90-plus, mid-90s every game, every week, and there's no let up. And that was one of the adjustments that we really had to get used to. I was really surprised that how many good arms are at Division I, no matter who's playing. There's just no let up. Division II, I kept waiting for that, that 83, 85 guy. We could pad some stats, and they just don't come. So you got to work really hard in all your games. You're going to have to be able to be patient at the plate. You're going to have to be able to hit mistakes, and the room for error is a lot less. But and that's kind of thing you got to we had to elevate, and we're still kind of trying to make our moves. And we felt our 2020 and 21 recruiting classes were very good, and we're looking forward to get them out there because we had to get our pitching elevated. We had to get our players up, and we had to get better, and we feel that we're moving in that direction.
All right, good deal. I'm sorry we got another one. Left-handed 2022, left-handed. I know you're on my other page, and I would have had the name over there, but 2022 left-handed pitcher, outfielder, in-state kid. I'm gonna get the name out there.
Okay.
In a minute. Josh says Beast Mode had about 3 or 4 guys going to UNA in the 2021 class. Great program.
Yeah, that's we like our 2021 class. It's we did well. We got some commitments, and I'm telling you, watching them progress this summer. You get the videos, you get the Twitter and all the stuff you're watching, but I've really seen some really progress, and that's what I saw even our 2021 this summer. They got to play. That's what was so unique about it. They're all playing. We're talking about shutting everything down, and I'm watching all these guys play baseball all over the country, and so we're real fortunate watching them continue to develop and watch them. Got some guys that are very athletic, and I know we got a couple that are on campus now getting ready to go this summer. It's nice watching those younger guys progress. But our 2021 class, we're excited about it. We think it's moving in the right direction in the arms and some of the athletes we have, and we're excited. We got to wait another year, but we're excited about the movement here in a couple of years.
know we got a little
Okay. Yeah, I
internet.
got
I
you.
mean, in little
That's good. I don't know if you hear
internet
me.
thing, Coach. You got me, Coach? Can you
I
hear me?
got you. I hope that ain't on my
My
end
bad,
because
man.
I'm not the most
No, it's
technical.
me. It's me.
All right.
It's me, Coach. It's me, man. The weather and whatever, man. But all right, we got a few. Let me see. We got, and I know you were talking great, and I promise you, when you talk about the 22s, the 20, and you were going on, and I'm hoping the listeners heard you because I think you were good on that end, but my end, I wasn't able to hear. But we have Isaac Warwick in 2022, left-handed pitcher, outfielder. That was the left-handed pitcher outfit I was
Okay.
talking about. All right. Uh,
Got him.
all right, here we go. Here we have my man Mike. You got that information, right, Coach?
Yep, I did. Yep.
All right, we got Mike in Cali says, "What is North Alabama known for academics, and how far out do you recruit geographically?" So, what's your base? My man Mike is out there in
Yeah.
California.
Yeah. Academically, really our institution. It's known for pretty much a wide round of any degree you want to pursue. I would say if you want to isolate some, our nursing department is one of the highest in the state of Alabama. The business department is extremely good, but this is a great academic institution. In our baseball program, a lot. I've got 5 guys that are medical doctors that have gone through our program. So we got lawyers, pharmacists, you name it. PT schools become really good. Exercise science. We've had over the last 9 semesters, our team GPA has been over 3.0, and that last spring when it shut down, we had a team GPA at 3.48. So our guys do well, but I think the institution here, what sets us apart, we have free tutoring on campus, and I think with the classrooms and the professors, the quality of education, I think, is what sets us apart over some of the bigger universities because those professors care about you, get relationships to them, and I think why we've seen our guys go into postgrad where it's medical school, pharmacy school, lawyers. Their preparation here gets them into whatever they want to do right away. So they do a great job as far as teaching these kids and get them prepared for whatever one. Same thing we try to do in our baseball program. Let's see, what was the other part of that question? I know you're trying to think.
Yeah, it was how far out do you recruit?
Yeah, to be honest
Geographically,
with the recruit.
geographically.
Yeah, we pretty much are nationwide. You try to figure some areas are better. We've actually, to be honest with you, one of the areas that we've had a lot of success that we haven't had in a while is Georgia. And Coach DeChico went into Georgia. They got that Hope Scholarship and everything. I told him, I said, Coach, you ain't going to get anybody out of Georgia. I've been working on that. When he got in the new assistant, next thing I know, we started getting all these commitments in these Georgia. I go, okay, well, I think part of that is being D1. But we got guys from Miami, we've got Minnesota, we've got Massachusetts. So wherever we can get them, we'll get them. They have to fit. Like I said, you have a recruiting coordinator, basically breaks it down. Okay, what's some guys that fit? What is their personality? What are some things? Make sure we get the right fit for our program. But as far as we pretty much go all across the United States. Now, like I said, we've had success in Georgia. We like staying in state if possible. But that's really not what we do. We just try to find the best possible players that fit what we need to do academically and baseball-wise in our program.
Good deal, man. Wow, you got the Minnesota, the Massachusetts guys. I know they just want to come down and get some of that good weather, huh? I mean,
that's you're right. And like I said, we've got 3 or 4 now going to be coming from Miami. So we've been taken from the beaches to the to the hills. So that was another one too. He's done a good job of getting him out of there, and we're looking forward to getting him. It's been some good players, so it's been some surprising to get some guys from different areas once you move to Division One.
Yeah, those are two hotbed areas, Miami and Georgia alone, man. That's and you plucking them out of there. Good for you, man. And so yeah, speaking of geographically and bringing the kids in, how one of the other questions are as far as recruiting wise, what is the best form of initial communication from a prospective athlete? Questionnaire, email, video, recruiting service, social media?
Yeah, the best way now, questionnaires went early on used to be the way you communicated with everybody, but pretty much emails have been the best way. There are a few recruiting services, but we do, obviously with Perfect Game and PBR, we do a lot on those. We see that's what we kind of follow through those directions. A lot of it is coaches too, summer coaches, high school coaches. That's one of the way you communicate. If they have a player, we'll follow up on it, and then my recruiting coordinator really does and directs with it. Most of the emails you get, obviously, they get quite a few of them, but I do try to read them, try to communicate with them. We both try to hit them as much as we can, but that's kind of our best way if you want to do it. And I'd be honest, a direct phone call, if you do that, there's nothing wrong with that, or having someone call on your behalf and recommend. We will follow up on them. We'll check it, but that's kind of the way we get a lot of names. It's been the PBR and the Perfect Game have been a little new to me in the game in the last 3 years, but that's what, like I said, with my recruiting being a former D1 guy, he said that was where he basically goes through a lot, and he's got a lot of connections through a lot of the summer coaches, and obviously most of mine I go through a lot of the high school coaches, but just kind of initiating that contact and getting it going through any means, and you have interest, reach out to them, and then we'll follow up on and see if it's a good fit.
Yeah, I had this question come up in one of the Facebook groups I'm part of, and they were talking about how much onus does a D1 caliber, a D1 coach like yourself look at the PBR and the Perfect Game rankings. You know what I'm saying? Is that a high priority for you guys when it comes to the metrics portion of those kids? Because some of the parents are saying that some of these kids that they supposedly have these high Perfect Game rankings, but you go on the field, and these are parents talking, but they're not impressed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With so that was the question. And I have my choice words, but I take it. You're the coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you when it comes to recruiting and stuff like that, is that something that obviously you kind of said it already, but I want to hear from you. Is that something that you really take?
Yeah, I think it's changed. And again, you got to remember, I'm not a young coach, so I've been around when there's a lot of this stuff coming in, and we made. They're talking about the spin rate and all this stuff. And I said, I remember when I was out recruiting as an assistant out on the road all the time, I could just tell this guy we just called it a heavy ball, or his arm was live.
That's right.
But, it was more visual. So I grew up in that time period of really bearing down and watching on the field. There wasn't all the metrics. There wasn't this exit velocity. There wasn't all this stuff on there. Ours was about how you played the game, how you handled the game, how you competed. So we still implement a lot of that. Now, obviously, you take some of the numbers, but to be honest with you, I want to find out a little bit more about how they play in the game. I think that's great that guys, because, it's like anything else, they learn how to play the game. Well, I know how to make my exit velocity, 95 miles an hour. Well, then you go watch them in a game, they can't make a solid contact at all. They're going to struggle. So, and again, it's nothing wrong with it. And we've done it. We put the numbers in. But I think what you have to do is you do have to kind of see them in a game. This has made it more difficult. We try to get on the video as much as we can. You try to watch. I try to watch the swing out, but we try to communicate with them and talk and try to get a feel for how they play the game, what's their hitting. Because everybody nowadays, everybody's got a hitting coach, and there's about 17 million different ways that everybody teaches hitting. And being an old school guy was there, they complicate things, in my opinion, way too much. When you talk to big leaguers like yourself or former big leaguers, it isn't near as detailed as complicated. And I try to tell them, I said, you got to get your hands back, you got to stay closed, and you got to be able to make solid contact and short swing to it. And I said, so we kind of try to see that in the game that's kind of matched. But kind of long ways around it. We take some of the numbers, especially you want to see if the kid's got the arm, if he's an 87 to 91, 92 mile an hour guy. But then you also got to go in there and watch, okay, how easy is that arm? How easy is that 89? How does it come out of his hand? What's his swing like? Is he got some athleticism, movement? I always liked watching kids run in and out of the field. I think you can tell if they're heel toe there. I like watching how they move. I actually watch that a lot more than a lot of other people do. I want to see if you got some athleticism about you. There's some guys that have been playing this game a long time, but they're kind of steer into this movement. I like seeing a kid who maybe plays multiple sports. We've actually kind of gone over a lot more multi-sport guys to see, try to get a more athletic. I like athletic kids. You were a multi-sport guy. You played football. That was the norm. And I've kind of seen it come back a little bit. I like it. I like guys playing multiple sports. So I like athletes.
Hey, give me goosebumps over here, Coach. I mean, when I like little snippets like that. When you said, not only do you, most coaches, love like, hey, I like a guy to hustle on and on off the field running. But you said I can tell a lot by how the kid runs, literally his form and mechanics, how he runs on and off the field. All right, so parents, I hope you be listening over there. You know what I'm saying? If your son over there just, he may be a good ball player, but I like it because you old school. That's what I appreciate that right there, man. Gosh, some and I mean that in the most fun. I don't mean to be.
I'm used to it. I was a young guy, and I said, I don't know how it got by so quick that I turned into being one of the old guys, but it happened. So.
It happens fast, Coach. You go, how it is on the plane. You one day you're the young guy, to the next time, and 2-3 years later, you're a veteran in this game. You know how that goes, man. So Josh says Bryce Engel, 2021 UNA commit is the real deal. We have JoJo Batten says, what up, JoJo? Says 360 Hawks. Christian Banda 2022. All right, they're getting their things in there. They're getting their little plugs in there. What up, Isaiah? It's been a minute. Tampa is a hotbed in Florida too. All right.
Oh yeah.
I got an outfielder out there. Yeah, son is an outfielder, could play a little bit. All right, I like his game. Mike says, are the area code games in the mix when it comes to recruiting?
We the area code games are more, that because it's not around here as much as I think that's I don't say is California, more in that area that, we used to have some kids out of California. We haven't as much, from recently with that. So that has, and I know we had about it because I've had some guys that were played in that area code games and how good it was and how much they enjoyed it when we had some of our recruits. So I just think, with now the travel teams, the summer leagues have really kind of dominated the movement. I'm not, I think some of that stuff is, again, being the way I used to recruit some of the kids we recruit. I think some of that has maybe eliminated some better athletes from pushing into the baseball sport, which I know I had actually the head coach at Jackson State, Omar Johnson, that played here and went through there. And we talked about that. And I said, I don't want this turning into too much of a country club, sport where we're not allowing athletes really want to get back into it, because I came in, in the 90s and none of this stuff was out of there. So it's one of those things I like when they try to keep, as many as the athletes staying in the sport and not trying to push kids away because they can't afford it, they can't do it. And that's one of the things that I hope we continue to try to give that opportunity to everybody, because I grew up that way. I would have never, my parents couldn't afford to do some of that stuff that some of these are having to do, and I get it, but it's out there now. It ain't going away. It's there's a lot of teams, a lot of talent, and they're getting a lot of publicity, and it's doing its part. I just hopefully we'll continue to teach these kids how to play the game right and not just be showcase kids that go out there and play. That probably, if you're talking about that, the thing is I'm a team guy when you come here. I believe in being for the team, being around the team, and doing stuff for the team. Something I had to get used to. Some of these kids come in and pitch 3 innings and go home, then leave, and that was really, like, for me, it was really odd. Because I go, hey, that's not much of a commitment to your teammates, to your guys. You're supposed to be together, but you can see that's what we try to incorporate the guys that are play on competitive teams, as far as where the coaches, they are trying to win. They are trying to do things more than just say, oh, here's how hard I can throw. Let's try to win this game. Hit and run. Moving things over once in a while. Situational hitting that a lot of guys don't even have a clue about what I'm talking about. We have guys, hey, hit and run, and they're hitting the ball like swinging like up in the air. And I said, hit and run is supposed to be on the ground, right? so it is one of those things that I do like seeing coaches that really preach the little things playing the game. Not everybody can be a power guy, and we got too much. We think everybody can be a power guy. No, it doesn't happen. So anyway,
no, I love it. Yeah, that's we got a few. Let me see here. My boy Chipper says, what date should we come for a camp?
Yeah, I wish that's really, you talked with the COVID, so we couldn't have any camps. We still can't have any camps till this dead period clears up. We're hoping, we were kind of hoping maybe September, maybe October, but the way the landscape's going right now, I don't see them lifting that dead period. So I don't know when the next camp is going to be. It's been those were really good for us. We got a lot of guys. That's how we got a few of the 2021 commits. They came to a showcase. They didn't know much about North Alabama. They drive up and they see the campus, they see the field, they see the area, and they're going, man. And we had one that is a very good player, and he committed early. And part of the reason just because he was on campus in the area, and of course he matched what we want to do. So right now, I would say we're hoping to have some in September. We definitely would be shooting for October. If that is, I have a North Alabama baseball. It's on my website, unabaseball.com. That's my campsite. So if we do have camps, you can find it there if we're allowed to have any. So far, we just still can't do any yet. So I'm waiting. We're hoping, and we're just hoping this will clear enough to get us into October. Maybe we can have a couple.
All right. Let me put that in there. So you said it's on the website. Let me.
Yep.
All right. So the unabaseball.com is the website to learn about the camps.
Yep.
Chip and everybody else listening in. I'll post that a little bit later too, Coach, and along with the email at the end. All right. Let me see a few more guys are questions coming in. Are the future stars and uncommitted showcases something school follow?
I think it depends on the futures. I know we did follow the futures game in Atlanta because we had several guys that we were on in that 2022 class that we were looking at. So we wanted those lights. I hate those things, those lights. But yeah, we do. The uncommitted ones where it's different is uncommitted for what grade. If you're 2021, we were fortunate we've done well. So if there's uncommitted 2022s, that's what we're really focusing on right now is the 2022s and beyond. Our 2021 class is filled up. And the other part of this thing, too, has made this extremely difficult. When the NCAA allowed all these extra years for potentially all the current players, that really changed how many guys you might have on your roster, because this year we have 41 this year because we had 6 guys that are returning, 5 pitchers and 1 position player. But then then the next year it drops back down to 35. So we got some guys, we want to keep the young guys come in, but it's hard to figure out exactly how many on the roster because we got some guys now that are going to be competing for hopefully playing next year. They might want to try to come back, and the challenge is we might or might not have any room for them to come back, and we might not have money because the NCAA doesn't give North Alabama money for guys to come back. The school has to take care of that, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. So you only got so many scholarships that you can divvy out. You only got limited roles and roster spots you have available. So it's really affecting, in my opinion, 21 and 22s because there's a lot of really good 2021 still out there with looking for places to go. That's usually not the case, and that's starting to affect the 2022s too. So it's kind of snowballed its way to there's going to be guys trying to figure out where to go, and everybody says, well, we can't because they're all coming back, and that's one of those challenges that we're all facing, and everybody's going to do it differently, and we are too. So we're just trying to figure that out as we move.
I mean, that's great information, Coach. So what do you tell that parent for the 2021 to 2022s? You know what I'm saying? That's in that situation, and they're a pretty good ball player, and they're seeing, you want those guys to be patient, but eventually that turns into some type of anxiety going on.
Yeah.
So what do you tell those 2021 parents?
Yeah. We try to be honest with you, good, bad, or indifference. I really only kind of know one way. We'll try to be upfront and honest as we can. I'm not going to, sugarcoat and say when I have something here when I don't. We don't mass recruit. You can see on us, we don't sit there and, well, we got, you got a 35-man roster, but you got 18 commitments here, 18 commitments here. You're going, okay, well, that's impossible to have all the numbers. We don't do that. So we'll tell them. I actually email some that said, hey, we don't have right now our scholarship positions are filled. Obviously we don't know till we actually get them the national letter of intent, but you get verbal, you got verbal commitments, so they're not signed to anything. So things could change. But what we tell them too is I'm holding on the roster spot to see the development of the guys I currently have in our program. I think it's fair to them because they've been in here working to see, it wasn't their fault. They lost the rest of the season. But I need to get them evaluated and see, where they develop. And I'll tell them, we're full, or we don't have any spots, or we don't have any roster spots available at all. Or I'll tell them what we have or what we're looking and what we're going to do. And that's kind of the best way I do it. If I try to be honest with them and tell them, sometimes that's not what they might not, what they don't want to hear. But I figured I'd rather do that than to come back and say, well, Coach, you said you had a roster spot available, then it's not there. I'm not comfortable doing that. I think that's partially because I've been in the Division II ranks the longest, and we have not ventured into that. I just don't think that's fair to the parents. I don't think that's fair to the kids. I always tell them, I said, now when you verbally commit to us, I'm committing to you and you're committing to me. And we're not sitting there going, okay, I committed you, but I'm still looking for, no, we move on to our next position. So I said, so you better make sure, because I said, I don't want you to commit to us, but you're still looking around. And I make that pretty adamant. And I said, I'm the same way. I'm not looking around. We're going on, fill another position. And that's the way we kind of operated here. And some don't, some do. But whether it's right, that's the only way I know how to do it. And I feel comfortable doing it that way.
Good deal, Coach. We got a couple guys putting their petition. Chipper has a left-handed pitcher, Henderson High School out in Nashville. Ty Edwards in Henderson High School, outside of Nashville, Tennessee. We have baseball and football, Timothy Lambert out of Montgomery, 2023 class. Plays short pitch. And okay. So let me see here. We have Delmar says, what's up? Delmar says, I push all my players to play other sports and go to the various schools they are interested in and get feedback from them. I have found this to be a useful in the recruiting process.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the things I always tell it too. And you can do, there's so many ways to do it, but I always tell them, I said, first of all, I think if you know where you kind of want to go and you have interest, I said, then contact them, go to camps, go to showcases. There's kind of one of those things you got to have interest. If you're wide open nationwide, that's fine. You might, that's where the other happen, the PBR, those help really there. But if you kind of have an idea, I kind of want to go, and I always tell them, do your pipe dreams. It's like we all did that. I want to go to, Mississippi State, okay, well then, but then also, I like North Alabama. And there's also maybe a junior college. I said, don't rule out any schools. I think kids nowadays, it's like D1 or nothing.
Exactly.
I said, it's like you talk about David Ski and Kevin Young, both played in junior college, one went to Louisiana Tech, one to Southern Miss. They both made it to the big leagues. There's a route to the big leagues. So Don't just play baseball. Don't just say, well, this Division I team didn't want me. Now I got to go D2 or I got to go junior. No, there's good baseball all around this country at all levels, at all places, whether it's NEI, junior college, whatever it is. I always tell everybody, there's always a place, there's always a fit somewhere. It just might not be available for one of the schools that maybe you're thinking about. So, that's kind of the same thing in playing multiple sports. the challenge of multiple sports, obviously, when you played, nowadays there's coaches that, boy, they pressure them. You got to be at the football workout. You got to be at the basketball workout. You got to do it. One of our guys that played for a couple of years, and I knew when I saw him there, he was a tremendous athlete. And I said, you had to play something else. And he said, because he looked like a wide receiver, but he actually played basketball. And I said, why did you choose? And he said, well, because they were making me come to all the workouts. And they said, if I didn't miss there, that might affect my playing time. He said, well, okay, then I'm going to go pick baseball. And I'm going, man, I hate seeing that. But I think the question there is such as playing too much. And that's a really good question. And I think I really think it is. And I think, you probably have more answer to that because you played at the big league level. You played in minor leagues. You played in all those games. Some of these kids don't take a break. And I didn't play at that standpoint. I've been at the college and I wanted to go out and play summer. But I do think some guys need to have some breaks to let your body recover. And I do think there is too much. I think sometimes pitching, you got to be really, really careful. And I think where I'm more concerned, to be honest, the younger kids. I'm telling you, some of these little kids that are playing, everybody wants to have a tournament, 6-year-old all-star, 7-year-old all, 8-year-old. I'm just going, man, can these kids not be a kid? I said, let them go to the pool. Let them have some fun. Let them do something. Let them go in the backyard and play. Let them go to the park on their own and play and kind of enjoy that pace. Get the love for the game. I think, when I was a kid, I couldn't wait for baseball to happen. It was short, but I was antsy. I couldn't wait for whatever. Then it was, whether it's football season or basketball, we had track, but it was like each sport was a excitement to play that other one, to get a break. And then eventually when you get in high school and get closer, you're going to start figuring out when I'm better. There's certain things you grow a certain way. Size, I like a bit more. It's like some guys, I don't like hitting that in football. It hurts a little bit more, but hey, I'm going to go to football or basketball or baseball, whatever it is. But I do think sometimes they're trying to push these kids into doing it. They think they got to do it all the time. And I think you do see some injuries are occurring at the wrong time. They're starting to have injuries at the time they need to be healthy and ready to go in college. So now what that number is, he asked me the number of what is too much. And I think that's the fine line. That is, I think it's individual. Some guys can handle more than other guys. Other guys can't. Some guys are injury prone. Some guys aren't. Everybody's body's different, and everybody's a little bit different. So.
All right. Jeff says you're going to love my guy Greg Williams.
Yeah, he's coming on campus this weekend. So.
All right. Okay. Shout out to Jeff. You have Marvell Moore.
Oh yeah.
Good to see you.
He's Oklahoma, Mississippi boy. Yeah, I love it. He came in there and played came in as a freshman. He's an infielder as assistant coach. So he was an infielder for me, and just he's probably tell my other guys, but he's one of my favorite guys I coached on there because he came in as a freshman and watched him develop and watched him get so much better. And he's a lawyer. There's one of our lawyers right there. You want to come through our program right there.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice job, my bro. All right. My boy D Rob says, do you follow and recruit JUCO players?
That's we have changed a little bit. We do, but we have gone more high school oriented. That's kind of been, and part of the reason is that's kind of the ASUN. When you get into a conference, we know it's ASUN and was a lot heavier high school oriented. We will fill with junior college. We do have a couple of junior college guys. Now, Division II coming in, we're a lot more junior college oriented, but it's kind of the switch we're going to do. Do we follow them? Yes. What we do is more for if we don't get some of the high school or we get a junior college guy that really fits what we need to bring in, and we will. But as when I was basically the recruiting guy for when I was for Division II, we were almost exclusively junior college, and so we've kind of had to switch. I think it's Division I because these kids are higher interest in the D1s. So you get that opportunity to do that. Obviously, we'd never pass on a good JUCO guy, but we've chosen to try to go the high school rank because we figure too is if we start getting some guys drafted and that we can get 3 years out of them as opposed to 1, and that's when you're trying to develop the program and trying to get to an opportunity to compete regionally. We felt we needed to do it with youth and get some really good talent in here young and develop them. That could change. I think that it changes from year to year. But right now we do follow, but we're been a little bit more high school oriented right now.
All right. We got parents, make sure you register for my master class speaking on this recruiting stuff, and I get this information straight from the coaches. You know what I'm saying? This type of stuff, man, and what they looking for as far as running and how they look at you running, the form of their running on off the field. I love that, man. You know what I'm saying? Those little tips like that, man, go a long way, man. So sign up for my master class, and I'll talk about it at the end of the show again. Let me see. We got any other? Let me see here. All right, I usually wait a little time, but coach, these questions are coming in fairly early today, so I wanted to make sure, because I usually do my little talking and get all my little questions and stuff that I have for you out the way, man. So I know we hit on the virus, we hit on the camps, we hit Roman. So what are the fees? What is how much does it cost to go to North Alabama in and out of state?
Yeah, it's and we're compared to a lot of institutions, we're really relatively inexperienced. Right now, I'm giving the cost for this year for a tuition for the year, all my base of the year. It's $9,600 for a year for tuition. Now, there is an out of state, which is $9,600, but if you receive any kind of a scholarship, whether it's academically or athletically rated, you'll get that out of state waived. So basically $9,600 for your tuition here. Your fees are going to be around $1,800. We do books around here, can be anywhere from 800 plus, depends on what classes you're in. But our housing, now we have a couple dorms. Our main dorm that I think they got down is about $5,500 for the dorm for the year. And then they estimate if you're going to eat in cafeteria is about $4,000. So total cost, you're looking around a little over $21,300 for the whole thing. Now, obviously what helps. Out of state's $30,009. If you $31,000 basically if you have no scholarship whatsoever. If you have scholarship, basically they waive it so you become in state. It's something we did about 3 years ago. It's been really beneficial. So you get kids from out of state. So we offer them a scholarship. It automatically waives that $9,600, so they don't have to worry about that additional amount. So it helps with getting kids in here, and even a walk-on type thing. You get a walk-on guy gets academic money, it waives his out of state too. So he can, you get a $5,000-6,000 academic scholarship as walk on. It doesn't count towards our equivalency as long as it's an academic scholarship. Well, now you just knocked off $9,600 from that too. So you almost get, that's almost half your tuition already covered. So it is a relatively inexpensive in the grand scheme of stuff. I've been here a long time, and I remember when tuition was $3,000 and the fees were about $200. So I've seen the increases in tuition go up over the year, but for the area and the quality education. So if you get exact, $21,379 is pretty much what the total cost to come here to UNA would be.
That's not bad. I mean, that's not bad for D1 and playing in a top-notch conference before scholarships or anything like that. So that's pretty good. Don says, would you rather a kid from travel baseball or high school to recruit players?
It's it kind of me being around because I'm used to more of the junior college and high school coaches. Travel ball when I was there, it really wasn't available. I think you just got to use both. My answer to that is both. I don't think there's really one or the other because there's really good travel programs. There's really good high school programs. There's bad high school programs. And there's ones that are not great. It's travel ball. They don't really do what's best for the kid. So I think what you have to do is you find out a little bit about the organizations and you find out who's honest. I tell you, that's both. I want the high school coach to be honest. If the kid can't play or the kid's got some issues, tell me. Same thing with the travel. Don't oversell kids. That's the biggest thing I tell you, because if we get them and you tell me, hey, this kid's a 6'6" runner, he can do this, he can do that, and he can't, I mean, you lose a lot of credibility with it. So I think that's where certain organizations will promote the kids in the right way. I know some of them, we're all trying to promote them. We do the same thing on professional ranks. You tell the scouts, but you still got to be honest. But we do a combination. I don't think there's one that I would choose over the other one. I just think each situation is different. Some kids play more high school, might play Legion, They don't have that opportunity. Others have that opportunity to play. One of the 2021s that we got, he's a homeschool kid. His only form of playing is through fall ball and summer ball, and he's in a real good organization to develop it. So that, like I said, every situation really is a little bit different from kid to kid. Personally, I like talking to the high school kids because I like high school coaches because for most of them, they got to win. They're like us. Our jobs depend on me winning. You start not doing what you need to do, they start, hey, you got to be better. You got to do more. High school, a lot of the summer programs, they put them out there, put the best kids, kind of get them out there and play. Nobody's worried how many games did you win this summer. It's about promoting the kids. So that's one time I talk a little bit about how competitive they are. I like talking to high school kids, the high school coaches. They'll tell me, yeah, this kid, when the game's on the line, man, that's what if I want to win a game, this is who I want to play. If I want to win this state championship, this is who I want on the mound. Not the best arm guy, but this guy. And I ask those questions because I think it's important for me that we get those kind of guys.
Yes, it is. You don't hear too much no more. You know what I'm saying? How much, when it comes to the high school and the coaches, you know what I'm saying? Most coaches I have on, they going straight to the travel ball. But I like I'm going over there to the high school coach because he's gonna let me know. You know what I'm saying? Because you could pull somebody in the showcase in the tournament, over one weekend, and when you're looking, but the high school coach really knows that guy, that kid, So
I think there's a previous question about living on it. Yeah, we do have for freshmen 1 year. The first year freshmen, they have to live on campus, so it is a requirement. Our dorms are really only 3 years old, so they are nice. So most of them, we do have what we call Rice and Rivers have been there since Marvell was on there talking. They've been there since the 70s. And, they're the ones that most of them don't even know what the dorms are, but these all have their own bathrooms. They're really nice, but they only have to do it for 1 year. And most of our guys, unless they're on some form of financial assistance that they have to live in housing, most of them will move off campus. Our area, like I said, we've got a lot of availability of nice house, apartments all over this area. I think that's, like a lot of college town, there's a lot of options in this town as far as living rate. But they do, for that freshman year, they do have to live in the dorm for 1 year.
All right. Well, says, what is it better going for a kid, going to a showcase or to a clinic on campus? What percentage of your kids do you sign from camps, travel ball, high school, and referrals? What is the best way for the kid to be seen?
Yeah, a lot of questions in there.
You ain't lying, right? Lord have mercy.
I think the difference is, and the reason here's where me being around a long time, I've seen the change. When I was pretty much in the 90s and even into the early 2000s, a lot of kids liked to come to the camp because we could give them a lot of instruction. They wanted here's how we'd go over real detailed on the infield play, on the hitting, all the stuff. That was kind of our claim to fame, as we really tried to develop talent and get them, and that's what they wanted. What's kind of changed more is because of all the individualized coaches and everything, they more migrate. They would prefer the showcase. They're not really giving me a lot. We'll do a little bit of instruction during some of our showcase, and I mean, it's not near as in depth what I've done. I've had kids say, "Man, that was great. I appreciate that instruction." I'm going, "Man, I didn't even scratch the surface on what we normally do," because I think there isn't as much out there. So I think it's again, everything kind of comes down. What do you want? Do you want to come in here and you want to show us what you can do? Then obviously the showcase is there. If you're coming into one, say, I like to get an opportunity to get better and kind of learn, then we do have some of those camps, whether it's pitching camp, catching camp, or hitting camps. Those are specifically designed for developmental. So I think that's where you are. I would prefer that we could do both, but those are really difficult to do, and a lot of them don't really want to do that anymore. I do talk about how we teach stuff and how we do it at our showcases, and I go pretty in depth because I want to know. And I do things a little bit different in our showcase camp, hitting wise. I make them hit the other way, and I want to see if they can hit and run. And I know a lot of them, they'll take their 8 swings and try to swing as hard as they can. And I try to tell them it's controlled. You don't swing. I said, all you got to do is watch major leagues take BP. They do not. It's controlled. It's easy. It's efficient. And so I want to find out if they can or cannot control the bat. And then I'll say, okay, I'll give you, we're going to go opposite field. I want to see if you can do it. And then I want to see if you can hit some line drives. And then last round, if you want to, show me that you can hit one to the warning track, like a lot of them, you can't get it out, but if that's what you want to show me, go ahead. But then I also want to see some kids that have that potential to get the ball fall out of the yard, so I can see it. So we do that. So I don't, I know exact percentage of kids we signed from camps. I think at one time on our roster, and I think even now, we've had anywhere from 7 to 8 kids that were on our roster of 30, 35 kids that were from a showcase camp that actually came to do that. I think it's been, and again, I could go back and look there, but I know we have of the class here, I think we have 2 or 3 that came to that. I think the 21 class, they were on that class. So it's been good for us. And we really do look at it, and we really do, because I think it's a great way to get engaged in them, find out, do you like me? They might not, and I don't know if I like what he does. We might not like, hey, he's a little bit, this kid's a little bit too good for, I don't like I didn't like the way he presented himself. I didn't like the way he did, kind of thought he was too good. But I saw this kid really hustle, really move, was picking up equipment, was doing little things, that I'm really big on personal, responsibility and accountability. I like seeing you pick up a baseball and not walk over it on the ground, pick up a cup and put it in the trash can without being told. Those things are important to me. And you can see that sometimes when they come on campus, or mom and dad grab their bags and carry it out of the dugout for them. And I'm going, come on, it's parents do enough for you. At least carry your stinking bag and take responsibility. You don't need it. So referrals, I think we do a lot of referrals from anybody. If you've got a kid that you think would be a good fit, we take them all. We try to follow up on them, whether it's travel ball, high school, or, we got a former football player here at Univ sent me an email the other day and said, hey, I got a kid, and I followed him, and he wasn't bad. And so referrals are always good. And again, it's just, we will try to be honest. I just don't think he's a little short from what we like and what we're going to do. And they say, well, I appreciate you doing that. And that's way, but the best way to be seen right now, and to be honest with you, if you can, I think being out in those, in those showcases in Atlanta, and that right now is really, be honest with you, they really do. And that really gets a lot of exposure in a short period of time. High school games now are tough because we're playing during the same time period. It does make it difficult. I wish we didn't do that where we could see them. I like to see them a little bit more competitive, but I've seen it change to summer ball and showcase camps. So be about really one of the best ways to really be seen, especially when it's happening so young. There's you're 3 years out trying to see a kid and make a decision. I don't really like doing that because we're missing those late bloomers. I tell everybody there's going to be some of those late kids. I've seen them in our program where they come in and these kids were kind of under the radar, and next thing you know, they've really, and they're special. And and that's the one thing. That's what I don't like. We have to that early recruiting because I think we're missing on some of these kids that are late developers that just haven't grew into their body yet. But you can see it's there. It's just that we jumped so far ahead of the game.
All right. Yeah, I had that question. I posted on a few of the groups that exact question of from a parent standpoint, and you explained it. I'm just piggybacking on what you said, but from a parent standpoint, would you rather bring your kid to a showcase with multiple schools and multiple teams in a tournament style, or going to an enclosed showcase / camp at North Alabama with the coaching staff running it? You know what I'm saying? And I posted up there just from a and it was kind of 50-50ish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some parents,
and I think what it is I think it's do you have some interest in that program? If you're just kind of going, hey, I don't really have anywhere I want to go. I'm going to go out where there's going to be as many coaches there that can see me to get some interest out there. And I think that's what the difference is. Now, if you have, like people say, what, I kind of saw this and I appreciate you doing, I kind of got some interest in North Alabama. I kind of want to see what it's all about. Then you might want to say, I'm going to go more specific because you're going to get a little bit more one-on-one type of communication if you go on the campus specifically for North Alabama camp or showcase. The other ones are not going to be quite as much. You can get yourself out there and there's multiple coaches. I think it just depends on what you want to do. A lot of times we'll be at a lot of those because we're doing the same thing. We're trying to get, they run, which I'm always amazed. We still run the 60s in the showcase. even back when I was doing it, back in the 80s, and I laughed because I said, man, we still run to 60, we'll still throw, they still hit, and we just go. I said, nothing's changed, but we'll go do that to get interest in there. Then we get their names down, then we want to go watch them play. Then we want to see what do they look like in a game. Is that speed good in the game? I like speed. We steal a lot of bases, so I do like kids that can run, just because I like putting in motion. I like putting pressure on. That's the way we style that we have. We led the first year in the ASUN. We had over 100 stolen bases in the ASUN Division I. I didn't know if we could do it, but I thought, well, we'll push the envelope. And when we shut down, we already had like 30-some stolen bases in 60 games. So I'm going to move. I like just putting pressure on. So obviously, when I see a kid that can run, okay, I like that. That fits. But I also got to find out, maybe he's not just a track guy that's trying to pretend to be a baseball player and all he can do is run. Okay, how is he on the bases? Because, a guy can be a great straight inline 60 guy, but he can't run home to second or first to third with the crab. I've seen other guys that are 6'8", 6'9" runners. I tell you what, going home to second, first to third, they're efficient and they can move. So those are little things that you kind of want to see and put it in play. So, but the mass showcases give us opportunity to see skill set that we like and that fits what we think would be good for our program.
Okay, great information. Let me see here. We have D-Rob says, do you think the draft will be 20 rounds next year? And does North Alabama have potential picks?
Yeah, I hope it will, because it did affect a couple of our arms, and they're coming back because they were, and one was still one of our pitchers was still, they were talking to him even in the 5, trying to pick up as a free agent. Obviously, when the minor league season ended, it pretty much ended his opportunity. So, I think, we got a couple. I think most of ours will be coming in, some of the younger guys coming up. But hopefully they will increase those rounds again to give some of those guys that opportunity. I think that's what we have, a couple arms that, like I said, I think we'll have a chance. They were, the nice thing is our 1 and 2 pitchers for us in 2020, they wanted to come back. And obviously, I said, yeah, definitely. I want you to come back, because they were pitching really, really well coming back, and both of them were getting some exposure. So hopefully they're not going to be a year or two old, that they're still not going to have some interest in them. But I think you'll see it. I mean, you'd have more of a feel for those rounds than I would. I think they will. I think they'll move back.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's 20 rounds. That's what I heard. It's going to be 20 next year. A lot of the low A level minor league they're going to get rid of. So I think it's going to make heavy competition in the college ranks, and I think smart kids I think that'll make the college game a lot better, for those kids, really.
Yeah, I think the independent ball will skyrocket. There's going to be a lot of these guys are going to have to go those independent games, those teams.
It's funny. I just got off the phone with a kid that's in, he pretty much asked me that, and he's signed. He was in AA last year. So he's like, man, and he doesn't know his future. Let me see here. We have Javier, non-related, non-baseball related. How is the weather during the fall and winter? That's a
good question.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Obviously, we're in the north part of Alabama, so this isn't like what you're going to get in Orlando or Miami or that kind of stuff. It would be real comparable to Atlanta. What you're going. It's what and again, I grew up in Nebraska, so I know what cold weather and miserable springs and never-ending weeks on weeks of never being able to get outside. Our fall is always going to be like it is a typical southern, hot, humid, all the way through September. October, it finally starts getting a little bit more comfortable. But we will get some cold stretches in here. We just don't get long. We'll get some cold stretches mainly in January, a little bit in early February, but then it bounces. We might be, it might be 65 in February one day, and the next day it might be 45. You get little bounces in there. So you will get some cold. I always tell everybody I live down here just to get enough of the cold weather to realize how much I didn't like it when I grew up in Nebraska. So it is the weather in the winter. It can get cold, but it's not anything like you're dealing with up in the north where you're going to get that weeks and months of it. We get days. We'll have a kind of a cold blast. It kind of comes in and then it goes back out. Maybe 2 days at the most, and it kind of gets back being where it's decent. Not bad.
I know those. I know those Nebraska. Oh Lord have mercy, playing in Omaha, man. Lord have mercy. Yeah. It's snowing in the mid to late April, playing in those games, man. But is it more important to be loyal to a good travel program that play league games and tournament games, or is it better to jump around and play on these showcase only teams?
Uh, you know, um, my answer to this because I grew up playing Legion ball, where you played on a team with the same team and competed and tried to play for a district and a state championship. My that's what I would prefer you to do. But again, you got to do sometimes what you need to do if it's going to help you and get you where you're going to go. If they don't mind doing that, and they let you bounce around. I have seen some guys that play on a couple different teams, and I don't know how much it has affected that stuff. I'm just kind of a guy that I like team stuff. I like guys, being something more than yourself and trying to help out your teammates and being around them and developing that program. But I do understand it is different. Because sometimes you don't want to be stuck into a program that's not helping you. If you're in you're getting out there and you're not getting where someone over here is getting that feels maybe the same talent level, but well, all of a sudden they're getting a lot more exposure. Why is that? So I think that's one of those things you do need to know where you're going to go, and I think that's why research ahead of time. Like I said, there's good programs, there's bad programs. The same thing. Do they really do help you? And they're honest, and that's what I said. Are they honest with you up front? I think be honest with the kids. It doesn't matter. You can tell them, all right, you right now, yeah, we're looking at what you're doing. You struck out the last 10 at bats. You're probably not. No one's going to be looking at you right now. You're going to have to change. I can't find you a place to go. You're not doing this. But I think that's where you got to be honest. But I like being on the same program, being around it, but I do understand that's a little bit complicated in the summer. Some guy, I think bouncing around too much, you might not be able to see who's going to help you the most. I think if you get around a guy that's in a good organization, they know they got the back for you. They're promoting you. They know they're in the best interest of you to try to do what's best for you based on what you want them to do. Who do you want to play? And I think sometimes they also need to be honest. I don't know if your skill level is high enough for this right now. And maybe you need to look here. And I know some guys don't want to hear that, but I think sometimes they need it. So,
yeah, the guys and definitely the parents, they don't understand, So, and they feel like from a travel ball coach, like you don't have confidence in the kid, but it's like you got to trust what I think and then see, And we've been wrong before, that, but
yeah. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, we all make mistakes. I mean, you think we've had kids where, man, I didn't think I'd get him. Then he goes and plays for somebody else. Dog, I missed on that. And there's others that we've got. I'll give you Tyler Joyner was a great example for us. He was a two-time GSC Pitcher of the Year from a junior college in South Alabama. So we're talking about there's a lot of schools that could have got him, and we just saw something in him. And the pitching coach that time that I had, Coach Hancock, when he was in the program, was able to take him and develop him. And there's a lot of people missed on that guy. They did. He was 87, 89 when we signed him. He turned out being 90, 94 by the time he left. There's a lot of people wishing they would have pulled the trigger on that. So it happens. It's not a perfect science, and you just try to do the best you can and hope it works.
No doubt about it. Don says a lot of great info, Coach. You have a great roadmap for coaches and all parents to follow. Baseball is life lessons. Thanks, Coach. All right.
I appreciate that.
All right. James. Let me see. James Redmond Jr. said, I went to UNA camp when Mike Lane was the coach.
Yeah. Yep. He was, that was where I first got there. He was there, who I took over for. So he was the one that kind of got it started, and the very teaching oriented guy. That's what he was. He broke everything down. And when you came to camp, he was going to break it down. And he always taught guys in his camp to use how to shake hands. How to look a guy in the eye and shake hands. That was part of the camp.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. I love it. Do you have some travel ball organizations that you really like pulling from?
It's really not any specific ones. I think, and I'm not. There's a few that I know. My recruiting coordinator is a little bit more tied into those groups from what he's had. But I really think we just kind of get the player's name, and then we find out who they're playing for. And then, like I said, we will find out through their conversations. And we've had some that we kind of sway away from because of the information and the way they handled it for us. And I think it's like anybody. You need to respect everybody no matter what they are. Just because we're not an SEC, don't treat us like, don't not, like give us not the respect for, well, hey, we don't have anybody for you doing that. Someday we might. So I think that's the, but you find organizations who are really good, no matter what level you are, how you're going to do it. We try to do that. I think that's, but we don't really have hey, we're getting a bunch of kids out of this. And to be honest, part of that because, we've only been at this for the Division I ranks for basically a year and a half. It's supposed to be 2. So we're relatively new to the game as far as with the program. So we haven't really had it established. But I think with some of the comments, you see that we're getting our name out there and signing some of these kids and getting some of these commitments. So they're realizing that, we are trying to do it the right way. We are being honest with their kids. And so what they're trying to say is, hey, these guys, this is what they said. This is what they did. You could trust them. And I think that's the same thing. Those travel coaches have to trust us and we have to trust them. You got to earn that. So we're in that process of earning the trust and trusting our program and what we're all about.
No, I love it, man. I love it. So let me see here. We got Don, you look at video, or would you rather upfront and personal to evaluate player?
Again, I do look at videos because I think you can slow it down and watch some where they actually are. But I really would like to see live. I kind of, if I do it, I like sitting up from the side and doing a good side view to watch the approach, because I think a lot of times in hitting, it's more of a controlled environment. It could be off a tee in a cage. What you're missing is their timing. You don't get to see if they got good rhythm. You don't see if they're getting their hands. When are they getting their hands back? How their takes. I like seeing takes. I can talk a lot about how a guy takes a pitch, to be honest, where he's going to be and he has balance. I think that's where you can find the balance. So, but I do think the video is good to break it down to kind of see what the swing out, see the bat path, see if the backside's firing, see if where the contact position is, see where their body position is, the head and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's a combination of both. But me, I kind of like, when I did a lot, I like seeing them live just to kind of, I do 2 things. I like a side. I like to see a rear view. I like to see, where's the front foot? Are they staying closed? Because, as well as, a lot of guys can get into anything, but, the high level hitters, that front shoulder leaks a little bit. Those guys, I'm amazed at, I'm talking about DeLucci, Segui, and all those guys, and Willingham that played for us. They always talk about, once that front shoulder leaks, you're dead. And so I want to watch that. And I try to tell our college guys that, but they don't believe me all the time. But I said,
you need to show them some of the names you just named right there, DeLucci and William. Them boys all had successful major league careers, so you know what you're doing and know what you're looking at, man. So I'm let's go. Chipper says, what part of Nebraska? Ty, he has family in Papillon, Nebraska.
Papillion, yeah.
Papillion, okay. All right. Yeah, all right.
Omaha, it's Omaha area, basically.
Okay, all right, cool. All right. He also says, do you let pitchers hit?
If they can, if they're good enough, we're not going to let a kid do it. The reason that it's so difficult to do, because pitching's become, it's not just go out and throw a few bullpens and to play the long toss. Their routines are long. They got with all the bands and with all the plow workout, and it is pretty extensive. There is that arm care prevention. I think it's if a guy, we've had a couple, not a lot. If they're capable of doing that, I think you got to be careful of that position. Maybe a DH. We are recruiting some guys that are dual guys right now. They have the potential to do that. If they can, we're going to allow them to do it. I usually let freshmen get that opportunity to try, and a lot of times they will come in and tell me, Coach, this is I'm going to just pitch, or I think I'm just going to try to hit. The pitching's not. It's pretty. I'm not gaining any ground right now because it is pretty challenging in collegiate there. But if they can, obviously we would let them do both. Especially, I'm not. If a guy's got that kind of talent, we're not going to sway him away from doing it. If we can use that bat in the lineup, and they got a heck of an arm, and they can do both. We're going to utilize it.
All right. All right. Let me see. Coach, man, we're about an hour and 15 in, man. A lot of great info. Um, I'm learning a lot about North Alabama myself. I wanted to, you know, I always love for, you gave a lot of great nuggets, man. A lot. I like those little small things, man. Like what you're talking about, the running and the picking up the cups. You know what I'm saying? Little stuff like that goes a long way to a coach when it comes to an evaluation process that parents can relay that message to their kids. You know what I'm saying? Little stuff like that to it is, because you and I both know, so the higher you go, the talent level evens out. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, what are the tangibles? What are the little stuff that is going to separate yourself? And that little stuff, like you talk about, I love, and that's why I'm hoping parents get that type of information, not just the 60s and the power and all. You know what I'm saying? And even I like what you said, how to hit in batting practice. I did at least 3 or 4 lives about that in Facebook lives in the year and a half ago, leading up to that, and a couple of showcases I went to at colleges, and these kids haven't been taught well, and they go up there trying to just pull everything and swing it out the butt and all foul, coming around the ball for the sake of hitting for power. And they're not understanding. You guys are long-time baseball guys. That what a nice line up the middle goes. That goes all over. That goes universal. That travels. The long ball that you can't really hit all the time, that don't travel all the time. But line drives up the middle. That game, that swing travels. So that's great information too. So what I love to do is, Coach, man, if you could, man, take us out with a great message. I say great, but any you've been giving great information, but I always love my guests to come on and send us out with a message, man, to the parents about North Alabama. It could be just about anything that you feel that the parents will need to know as we head out.
Yeah, I think it more of and this is just because I've been around long, and with the parents, I think I know I got kids. We all want to do what's best for our kids. But I think what we need to make sure that they're enjoying their sports. Let them have a life above the sports part, because I think it's important to love what you want to do. You got to have a passion about the sports. I do see you don't want to become a job so early. You played professional baseball. They don't understand. You understand more. They need to ask you. It is a grind and it is a job. So when you're in college, and especially the youth ball in the summer, make sure you're enjoying it. You love playing the game. You can't wait to go to practice. You want to be able to get after it. Let them have it. Don't sit there and, did you get this? You make them have the passion for it. Make them have the desire for it. Make them be the ones that want to go do everything. It needs to come from them internally, because eventually what's going to happen, it will go away if they don't really have it from the beginning. And that's what I said. I understand about pushing some things there, but don't make sure that you're getting that they're the ones that want to pursue this path, whatever that's going to be. And I think that sometimes, you try to get them because you want them to do this, you want them to be so good. So you kind of get them in a direction. It becomes a grind. It becomes a work. And it's like, I got to go to another hitting thing. I got to do this stuff. No, they got to want to do that, because when you do that, their energy level is going to be fun. They're going to be fun to be around. Their attitudes are going to be great. So I think that's the same too. Is I think we've kind of got this youth baseball turning into too much of a business when it should be fun for these young kids. It should be enjoyable. You go back to our experiences growing up. We had these, like I said, we didn't have all that stuff. Nobody did. But man, every sport that I love getting in the backyard playing. I love to pick up basketball games. I love getting in the arguments with our guys and arguing about who was out in the back without no parents, with anybody around.
Exactly.
We were able to enjoy and figure it out. Let that getting into high school and the college. That's when it becomes a little bit more serious. That becomes a little bit more focused when it gets around. But that's the best thing is especially younger ones. Let them keep enjoying it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. There's a lot of good people. There's a lot of opportunity. Baseball's tough, and just enjoy it and have them enjoy and let them have a good life. And like I tell our players, when they get done here, enjoy the time here. But I hope you're you're a good father, good family man. You're good take care, and when you get there, you're just a good person when you get done and take care of everybody. And I hope they do that, and that's their strive. Sometimes they don't. When I'm getting on them about it when they're over here, but I do want them to be good people once they get out of our program.
Yeah, I love what you said, man, and I fight that even eternally. My family with the playing tennis, and my daughter, and I say it all the time, and I'm like, if I had to do what she does every day and the meticulous swing and all, I'd have been done with baseball. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would have been done. You know what I mean? It's and then I get told it's the way it is now. I'm like, okay. I'm like, but it is.
But are they having fun? And again, the guys, in college, yeah, we have fun, but I want you to win. But some of these times, kids, do they really enjoy it? I mean, they really have a real passion for it. Is there something else that, hey, maybe my interest has switched, and that's what I don't like getting so specialized so young. You don't know what you like. My gosh, I said, these guys now. I mean, there's guys now. They're going to be sophomores or freshmen in high school. There's someone that, well, I think I want to major in this. I said, man, you're a lot better than I was, because I was in college not knowing what I want to major in. So I think we push them to have to make decisions and make direction as it is, and kind of enjoy life a little bit. Enjoy it when we get. And I think we're in a position now. We're all having a challenge ahead of us that I hope we'll clear out of it. This will be interesting. We're all facing things that we've never faced before, and doing things we've never done before, and cautious before. I got to wear a mask out on the baseball field. Never done it, and not being around. I saw some of our players on campus the other day, and I said, I haven't really talked to a player other than a Zoom meeting face to face since March, and it was weird. It was weird seeing them in the cage, walking out there getting ready to go, going, man. I said, so. I hope we can get back to some kind of normalcy and get our lives back to the way it is. But I think we also need to be appreciative of the ones we have and close to us, and have those phone calls. And when you don't live near family, it's tough when you don't get to see them very much, and you can't just get in a plane and do that anymore. And I think we need to understand and enjoy the time we have, and enjoy the opportunity to play collegiate baseball, high school, however high you can get. Enjoy it and appreciate it as an opportunity that a lot of kids don't get.
Amen to that. I mean, that's words of wisdom right there. Lord, words of wisdom. Enjoy every moment out there on that field. Remember, register for my 6-week master class. We have Marvell says UNA baseball is top notch. All right. Giving that plug in, you know what I'm saying?
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
All right, Jeff, shout out. Great interview, no doubt. Appreciate it, Jeff. D. Ross says, amen. Right on. Thanks, Coach. All right. So, listen, real fast, Coach, before I get you out of here, email so I could, I'll post it real fast. And parents listening in, we have Coach Sam Owens coming in. Steve Owens, I'm sorry, Rutgers head coach. You got Rutgers head coach Steve Owens coming in tomorrow. We did recruiting coordinator. I know it's kind of back to back, but we got the head coach coming on tomorrow. All right, Rutgers head coach joining us tomorrow, taking it back up to Jersey, and get to speak on that. So let's, Coach, if you could, man, what's that email for the videos and
it's MJ, and it's my last name KEEHN at UNA.edu, University of North Alabama, UNA.edu.
All right. Let me get that on here. All right. So parents, it's still on. If you are wanting to get that video seen by Coach and his staff, that is the email. He also earlier gave you, what did I get? What did we do?
The camp information. Yep.
The camp, UNABaseball.com. And so, listen, if you have, any interest in North Alabama, new to D1, loves to run, all right, stolen bases. So you got any type of speed, type of game, and he's aggressive on the base pass, man. Great conference, great competition. Listen, sounds like a great school, Coach. I thank you for coming on. I will be in contact. I got a lot of these, we ain't too far from each other. How far is Atlanta from here? How far is Atlanta from here? From you
4
guys?
hours. 4 hours. Yeah. It's an easy drive. Easy 4 hours.
All right. So All right, no doubt about it. Just drove 7 today, so it's all good. So we I mean, not too far away. Alabama's great athletes. Not too pretty much my neck of the woods. I claim you now, coach. So so I will be in contact in the background, and we definitely will stay in contact. And I appreciate you coming on, coach.
I appreciate you doing this. It's great having it, and appreciate what you're doing for the baseball.
All right, no doubt about it. So, parents, tomorrow again, Steve Owens, Rutgers head coach, will be on 4 p.m. Eastern. We're keeping this knowledge rolling. All right, join us tomorrow, coach. I appreciate you, my brother, and have a good one, man. And I'll be in contact.
All right, you be safe. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you.